Regression, Viking Angel, June 29th, 2018. Began in a castle after going through a green door at a temple. Entered the temple from ancient Greece, where there was a warrior who was also an artisan of sorts, with a thin, short man with dark curly hair, dark curly beard, and he was favored by Hermes. And it seems like Hermes the messenger, was guiding this trip. So I went to the temple, went through the green door, and ended up at this castle where I would return about 40 minutes later in real time. Things were indistinct, but I quickly began seeing that I was a different man with a dark beard. The hair wasn't as curly, some gray in it, thin, tall, dark hair. And I was connected to royalty, and this person was a king. There was a child that they cared about, a female with red hair, and a place that I thought was called Blackwell, England. Then there was a carriage, and someone called the name Henry, and there were constant battles with priests, and a mace and a scepter were my tools, my symbols. I followed this person through a whole lifetime, starting to assume might have been Henry VIII. I was curious about their inner world. It was full of consternation, resignation, confidence, determination, very steely will, very isolated and private, very calculating, very much had a goal in mind the whole time, and just disconnected from all landscape, but still pushing through as the primary force. Thought that very interesting. There was two cousins. I think they were in Blackwell. I don't even know if that's a real place. And they were older women with white hair. They were very trusting. There was a bunch of thin, strong racing dogs, a fire. And curiously enough, there was no sensuality, no sexuality, some ceremonies, but they not necessarily, perhaps one wedding, but that was so not the primary thing on this person's mind. Working with people and defeating these bureaucracies and pushing paper was literally the main, I guess that's where the messenger part came in, was the main thrust of this journey. And at the end, I felt like this person always knew that his daughter was the special one, I guess Elizabeth with the red hair. At the end, toward the end, it was really important for him to write her something. So I don't know if there's an important letter written from Henry VIII to his daughter Elizabeth at some point toward the end of his life. Some other names came up with an A. I can't recall that part. something in that castle, the more modest castle being, something happened there. Toward the ceremonies of his death, toward the end, this was, how do you say it? Much like his life, it was really a fluid, confident passing. It was a building era. I think he knew he was building for something greater in the future, but he won, I guess, because all the pieces were in place at the end. And I say he because perhaps it's a twin soul of someone I was hanging out with today, and partial's karmic soul of, because I believe me, I don't want to carry the burden or the arrogance of trying to be just Henry VIII. But the perspective was intriguing. Just from the kind of chess-like calculation of his mind. Gosh, if I come up with more, I may do some research and come up with a follow-up, a addendum of what some of these symbols and names meant, see if there's any historical connection. Viking Angel, June 29th, 2018.